Hi, I'm Anna and I'm doing the introduction and the conclusion.
I'm Matt and I'm talking about how National Broadband System relates to our information system.
Hi, I'm Casey. I'll be the third speaker and I'm talking about the improvements to IS.
Hi, I'm Chandara and I'm the fourth speaker and I'll be talking about the positives.
Hi, I'm Tiens Victor. I'm the fifth speaker and I'm talking about the negative points.
I'm here today as part of the team Generation Y to introduce to you the National Broadband Network Plan. We will demonstrate the plan, explain the general overview of what the NBN is and how it relates to information systems. We'll also be discussing some other positive and negative arguments for and against the National Broadband Network. In April of 2009, a media release was published on the Prime Minister Kevin Rudd's blog. This media release clearly stated the proposed plan for a national broadband network. During an interview with ABC, it was stated that this would be the greatest infrastructure project in Australian history. The internet is a crucial element of communication in today's society. Every business will use the internet in some area, whether it is for advertising, researching, to make informed decisions, or to connect via email and various information systems. It is still a pivotal element of today's society. Unfortunately, not everyone has access to internet facilities that are up to date. The purpose of the National Broadband Network is to ensure that every business, school and household has access to high-speed broadband internet facilities over the next 5 years. The plan is to connect 90% of Australian homes, schools and workplaces with internet speeds of up to 100 megabits per second. To put this into perspective, it is on average 100 times faster than the average internet speed used in most of your homes and workplaces today. For the remaining 10% of the population, this will include rural areas. A connection with next-generation wireless and satellite technology will be used to deliver speeds of up to 12 megabits per second. The improvement in broadband facilities will allow information to be communicated effectively and efficiently, specifically through the use of information systems.
As most of you know by now, information systems are made up of 5 components: hardware, software, data, procedures, and people. The National Broadband Network is part of many information systems used these days. It is made from a network of cables and satellite connections, allowing computers to connect to the internet. Therefore, it will be classified as a hardware component in the information system. Yes, Australia already had a mix of hardware and software components that allow the public to access the internet, such as the dial-up network. However, this network achieved its purpose of allowing the public to transmit and receive data over the internet. Nevertheless, it was very expensive and slow to do so. Therefore, it was not practical for small businesses to have access to the internet, as the benefits of having an internet connection would not cover the costs. The National Broadband Network will change many information systems that use the internet and some that don't. As you have just heard, the National Broadband Network will make the internet faster. It will also become cheap to use, and it will provide wider accessibility than the next best thing. Therefore, companies that use such networks, such as dial-up, will change the National Broadband Network, which will be more efficient for the business. Small businesses that ordinarily did not have the access to the internet because it was too expensive and not practical can now afford this benefit. Large national businesses, however, spent huge amounts of money and time of transmitting data from city to city, and now over the National Broadband Network, they can do this a lot cheaper and faster, making the business more efficient.
The National Broadband Network will connect more businesses and more homes around Australia with faster and cheaper connections. This will result in many developments and improvements in the use of information systems. Areas it will affect are accessibility, performance, and cost. The cost of current broadband connections for businesses mean that some smaller businesses may decide that investing in information systems is too expensive. Also, they may find that the downloads the business requires exceed the monthly quota, or download speed is too slow to be of use. The National Broadband Network will change this, as it will be able to deliver greater download speeds at lower costs. This may result in smaller businesses developing information systems, as the available speeds at affordable prices will allow them to use IS to share the information they need. The increased performance at lower prices may not only increase the number of businesses using information, but may result in the improvement of current information systems. This will be because it will allow for larger pieces of data to be transferred quicker. This would improve the efficiency and ease of data transfer using online information systems. Increased accessibility will also change the usage of information systems, as more towns and people around the country will be granted access to broadband through this network. Because of this, more people and businesses will be able to create and participate in the information systems. They are currently unable to do so due to their geographical location. Also, it will improve the client bases of many current online companies who use IS to communicate with their customers.
This project will bring great benefit to the Australian economy. Firstly, it will provide 20,000 new jobs during the project period, which is expected to be around 7 to 8 years, and reaching 37,000 jobs at its peak. Jobs are also created in the operation and maintenance of the company once it's been set up. The project is predicted to bring an additional $37 billion to the GDP, boosting economic growth. Secondly, the broadband network will cover 90% of the nation. This will mean a better, faster and more reliable communication network for businesses and homes. Once the project is completed, the average access speed is 100 megabits per second. This will allow businesses with multiple branches in separate physical locations to operate more effectively, as the communication barrier is now reduced with ease of access to information. Also, with the introduction of a new company into the market, existing firms are forced to become more competitive in order to maintain market share. Competition in market is necessary as it leads to new innovation in technology and provides consumers with a greater variety. Finally, once the project is completed and is up and running, it will bring Australia up to date with telecommunication technology with other countries such as the US and Japan, thus allowing us to be more competitive on the international scale.
Although the cost criticism is valid, the amount given in the slide does not include uses of networks such as cellular networks, pay televisions and on-demand services. These costs may require monthly costs of up to $200. The government thus far have performed no cost-benefit analysis. Factors that will influence the cost are competition within the market. For the national broadband network to pay off capital for building the network, it will need an amount of subscribers between 60 to 80%. Competition that will have an impact on whether they are able to achieve the estimated percentage of subscribers are current communications infrastructure, existing fibre backhaul, wireless networks and many more. All proposals were to some extent underdeveloped. No proposal as of yet has provided a fully developed project plan. None of the national proposals was sufficiently well developed to present a profitable outcome, and all proposals that have been presented contain attractive elements that put together could result in a desirable outcome. The main idea behind the national broadband network is to design, build and operate an open access network providing download speeds of up to 100 megabytes per second to 90% of Australian homes and businesses. This will negatively affect a company such as Telstra and many more, as their whole business is set up to provide a network system such as broadband, etc. The NBN will cause more businesses to be able to use the internet to their advantage and cause a large amount of customers from Telstra to switch to NBN.
It is evident that there are reasonable arguments to support the implementation of the National Broadband Network and strong arguments against it. This is an expensive project with an estimated cost of $42 billion. There is a lack of private investors and certainty over the implementation plan. Although there are high costs involved, the jobs created will be enormous. This scheme will also significantly improve the use of information systems. If the plan goes ahead as expected, every person in Australia will have access to faster and cheaper internet facilities. The National Broadband Network will also allow for increased competition between telecommunications companies and Australian businesses' competitiveness in the global market. Through our analysis, we believe that the National Broadband Network should be implemented, as it will increase Australia's global market competitiveness, facilitates improvement of businesses' information systems, improves household internet access, and provides jobs. Clearly, the positive arguments outweigh the negative by far. Thank you.